All right, what's up, ladies and gentlemen, traders? Happy Sunday, happy Sunday. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are feeling good. Hope you guys are having a blessed day. We are coming in to do a quick Q&A, a quick and clean Q&A. So, grab your popcorn, get a couple of questions ready, and you guys can lock in. In fact, I keep forgetting. I'm gonna post this on Instagram. Let the people over there come on in with a couple of questions as well. Get the show on the road. Now, for those of you broader viewers, I mean, this is a public live stream. I usually will do this for students exclusively on Sundays. We don't have that many questions, so I'm gonna do it for the broader community. But just keep in mind that day trading is risky business. All right. Check out the disclaimer that's on the screen right now. Live day trading Q&A. Yeah, day trading is risky business. So understand that this is not the field to be horsing around and joking around. Even if you're someone who've been around the markets for a long time, and you might have a 401k and all these different things. You might be familiar with different brokerage platforms and companies. When it comes to day trading and hyper scalping, there's a lot of risk, and it takes time to become consistent. It takes time to become efficient. So there's no reason for anybody who is now starting out to be ultra aggressive and be all the way out there trying to, turn water into wine overnight. It takes months, more commonly years. All right. So let me just finish up here and we should be good to go. I gotta actually search my own video because I can't find it. Okay, there we go. We got 20 people or so tuning in, so be sure to hit that thumbs up. If you're a new viewer, consider subscribing to the channel. All right, let's grab this link and I should be good to go for Instagram. Boom, boom, boom. Looking good, as we should. Let's see. All right, yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's put an arrow, and then we'll officially kick it off here. But this disclaimer is really, I want to say, common sense, but at the same time, it's so easy to fall victim to it, and I did myself. So I'm not, here trying to diss anybody, right? Because I lost around 4 grand in the beginning, and I could have lost a lot more if I was approved for the loan I was trying to get sooner. So thank goodness I got denied, because I probably would have blew up 25K account, right? Just like that, because I wasn't ready, I wasn't fully prepared, and I was trying to be aggressive. Like every industry, every business, every career, every job, there's a learning curve, there's orientation. You have to go through some sort of education to become proficient and efficient. So, and the market, it's so accessible. Robinhood, Webull, TD Ameritrade, Schwab, E-Trade. I mean, there's so many ways you can gain access to the market. Laptop, cell phone, TV, the Tesla screens, heck, everything. And a lot of people have some cash on the side, right? Disposable income, where they can, hey, I'm gonna put a grand in, 10 grand, 100 grand, depending on the person. And hey, GameStop is the stock that they're hearing about. They buy GameStop, it's down 50%. 100 grand turns into 50 grand overnight, and it's like, what the heck? This thing is a scam. So take it slow. All right, we'll move on from the disclaimer. Let me see who's tuning in. We got Peter, we got JP, Arkham, what's up? Day Trading Zoo, we got Zay in the building. All right, let's pull up those. We only have 2 MMU questions this week, and then we'll jump right into the live stream. So you guys can start leaving questions on the live. Let me make sure not to have any accidents here. Let's see, Day Trading, MMU team. I think SF left a question as well. By the way, whenever you guys, for those of you who are in MMU, whenever you guys have a question, it's better to DM it to me than to add my name in like one of the main chats because sometimes I can miss it. But once you DM me, it's rare that I can like miss a DM. Okay, MMU team, MMU Q&A. All right, looks good. So just two questions or three, and then we'll jump into the YouTube stream. So Sam, hey guys, I'm having an issue with the volume bars, especially during the open when we have surging volume. The bars become overextended. Okay, yeah, this happens to me a ton. The way to fix this is to double click on the screen. Uh, you can double click the screen to get like a refresh. So, left clicking twice, 1, 2, will bring out the zoom and refresh everything. This happens a lot indeed. So you got to double click and then kind of zoom in again to get a proper look. All right, so once again, left click twice. The longer way to do it is to switch stocks, type a different symbol, come back, stuff like that. But that might take a little too much time. So just double click and you'll be good to go. In fact, Marcelo was the one who told me about that because I was, typing in a whole different symbol and then coming back, right? Which is the long way of doing things. So yeah, that's the first question. Let me see if there's a part two here, just in case I skip over it. Is there a way to control the bars, keep them from surpassing the rectangular area? Yeah, so again, double click. And also in settings, if you do want to overlap the volume, like how Marcelo has his, I personally don't like this, but it's a way to do it. Marcelo has his overlapping onto the screen. You could also do it that way via the settings. Um, but yeah, double clicking. So let's see, let's continue. Let's put a green check here. Let's see. Hey team, why do you guys use the DAS level 2 / execution hotkeys along with Thinkorswim's chart? Do you guys not like DAS charting? Personally, I don't. I don't think it's as maneuverable. It's not as clean as Thinkorswim. And on top of that, DAS is really an execution platform. And because the way how we have our screen set up, it's so seamless, right? Where's my other screen, by the way? Do I need to load my layout again? Setup. Well, hold up. Let me do this over here. I don't like to click on these things on the stream just for safety. Relentless Trader. What's this? May? Okay, May 2024. Let me just reload this. Okay, there we go. There it is. Now I can go to the other screen up top. So this is what the question is about, right? Why do we use DAS Trader level 2 along with the Thinkorswim chart? Why not the DAS Trader chart? Well, again, I think this chart is a little bit better. And because our accounts are sync from Schwab /TD to DAS, when we go long, we can see the active trader here light up, right? So, and I can pull up an archive to actually show an example. Right now the markets are closed, of course. This is from May 31st, a random archive. Let's just click on it. And so yeah, once I hit the buy button, if I'm to be executing through DAS, if I hit the buy button, the order will populate right here in this active trader area. And this is good because if you're using DAS exclusively, at times there could be signal issues between TD, or let's say Schwab, and DAS. And there could be an incident where you sell the position and it actually does not sell. So it's great if you could have this screen open or TD open in general to see and make sure your positions are closed out. It doesn't happen a lot. Maybe, from Marcelo's experience, he told me maybe like once every like 5 months or something, you can have an issue. But as we know, it could be catastrophic if it's the wrong stock, a $50 stock. You're in a couple hundred shares, secondary offering the next day. You don't want to come back to seeing your account down, thousands, right? So it's good to have this open. That way you can at least make sure and guarantee, because Thinkorswim is not going to lie once you're out of the trade, right? But other than that, DAS Trader has great hotkeys. And honestly, like I was talking to Marcelo, recently, like just like last week, I think he was telling me I'm kind of slacking, and it's true. The hotkeys here are too good to not use. So once the connection, I don't think it's fully back up yet, but once we have more confirmation that it's good to go, I'm gonna start utilizing it much more because I used to in the past. Um, the hotkeys are just too good, especially the offsets. The offsets are like amazing. A pure limit order is just not going to be able to compete against an offset. 1 cent plus, 2 cent plus, 5 cent plus. That's sometimes can be the difference of getting in and getting left out of the trade, right? But yeah, Dash Trader along with Thinkorswim is good. TD has hotkeys, but they're pretty basic. So for those of you tuning in, hit that thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up. We got 44, 45 people. Hit that thumbs up. ZH, GD, Peter, Plato the Trader. We see you guys. Arkham is in the building. Jeffrey is in the building. Mr. Man, Zay. So, and on top of this, DAS also has a good level 2, fast, right? And then there's also the halt levels, which are built into the level 2. So shout out to Momo Pro, which is a scanning software that's making an effort to have halt levels. So that's pretty good. But the only thing about the brokers that's better is that it's integrated, right? If I hit the buy button through DAS, it's the order's going through, right? Versus Momo Pro is one of the drawbacks where there's like that second layer of time that it'll take for to transfer the data. Let's say, okay, I see it over here, then I have to go here to my platform, then hit buy, rather than having everything there. But yeah, shout out to Momo Pro, because so many scanners, they don't even have the halt levels, which is not good. Momo Pro holding it down. I should have wore a Momo Pro shirt today. I got a couple of them in there. So coming back to the next question, and then we'll push forward. Let's make sure to put a nice, beautiful check mark. Do you guys? Oh, Do you think you guys are like Messi and Ronaldo of trading? Can you? This is a very interesting question here. Can your result be replicated only by talent? Hmm. This is an interesting question. So the Messi and Ronaldo of trading, right away, I gotta say, as confident as we are, as good traders as we are, as good looking as we are. Okay, let me stop. But as confident as we are as traders, I don't know if I'd go as far as to say Messi and Ronaldo, because there's so many traders that are like massive traders. I mean, Twitter is one of those platforms that we were not really active on up until the beginning of this year. And it's like a whole different world up there, man. You got guys literally posting like $500,000 days. Like, and some of these people, not all of them, but some of them for sure are verified traders. There's a guy named the Short Bear, primarily a short seller. The guy's 100K days and these type of things. And even at that level, there's levels even above that, right? So there's different levels to it. I mean, all the way to, from retail to the hedge funds and so forth, prop firms and things like that. Actually, it's funny enough, I have on an SMB. This is an SMB Capital shirt, right? These guys are pretty big platform. Lance, one of the traders over there, about $10 million in gains. You can't forget the guys like Ross Cameron, Tim Sykes, some big time traders, Humble Trader, people like that. So I mean, I don't know. And there's people who don't have YouTube channels who are bigger traders than them. So when it comes to profitability, I don't know. But for me, when it comes to the willingness to push forward and the determination and just being relentless, I think we're number one in that aspect for sure. And there's a lot of variables, man. There's a lot of variables and there's a lot of factors when it comes to profitability. Like, I'll speak for myself. Like, earlier in my career, there's no way that I could make a certain amount of money just because of where I was financially and the risk. Borrowing over 25,000 to trade, not having a dime in my bank account, living hand to mouth, working at Amazon. It's like one wrong move and one bad day, one big loss, and it's like I'm wiped out, you know? It's like I couldn't take on a certain level of risk immediately. And even now I'm pretty cautious, and like I wouldn't want to be down more than 10 grand even now. Like that'd be a problem for me. It's like it's too much money for me to lose even now, you know. For different people it's different, man. It's hard to really compare yourself in that way. But coming down, let's see, do you think that if some other or in some other world or any other life consequences, that if you would have been exposed to trading options, swing trading, or large cap trading and never heard about hyperscalping, do you think you would still make it? This is a great question, and I think I might have skipped the question up top. Can your result be replicated? Hold on, let's answer this and then we'll move down. Can your result be replicated? The answer is yes. We are seeing students who are doing very well. There's a lot of you guys who are progressing, some with smaller size, some are already using bigger size. Um, the thing is about us is that we're very transparent, right? Everybody in in terms of the mentor, we're sharing everything. I just spent like an hour and a half like replying to DMs in like essay format. Like everything, we're not holding back, right? When it comes to the classes, the live archives, these Q&As, I mean everything that we're doing, we're putting it all out there. So we're giving the students a great shot at becoming successful. It's not guaranteed, but it definitely can be replicated because we're seeing people doing it at various levels right now. So coming back to the second question here, if I discovered large cap or something else instead of hyper scalping, do I think I would have been able to make it? I told Big Steve recently that even if hyper scalping goes away tomorrow, boom, hyper scalping is gone. What would that mean for us? Right? It would mean, of course, that we would have to make a change, right? Life, the number one constant about life is change. And we'd have to be willing to either make a new strategy or follow a strategy that's out there that works well. And it could be for any one of those criteria: options, swing trading, investing. The number one factor for success towards a strategy is discipline. And it's why sometimes it's so funny when like they'll there's haters sometimes, right? Some people can be haters. They'll come wrong and it's like, hey, if this happens, like these guys are doomed. But what they're failing to realize is that discipline is the number one factor in any strategy. And if you're willing to be disciplined, it's possible, right? Again, like, you can't say it's guaranteed, but it's possible. Like you give yourself a really good chance if you're following a system that works. If you're disciplined to follow a system that works, it becomes possible. And discipline, I think, is the number one thing, in terms of the recipe, right? The number one piece to give yourself a good shot. So I think the answer is yes, without a doubt. If I had to start tomorrow and follow a different strategy or come up with something, I think following a strategy that's out there would be smarter because it'll take less time than inventing something brand new. So discipline. And I honestly, maybe investing, or I mean, anything could work, right? I just have to do some research and see what would make the most sense, and from there lock in, right? So just a cool question to ask. What happened if small cap YouTube video never popped up on your screen back in the day? What would have happened? Um, I don't know, man. This type of question has a lot to do with like fate, destiny, and it's hard to say. I was studying accounting in school. my older sibling was really the one who found the video and then came to me with it. So it's hard to say. Maybe I would have been an accountant somewhere. I probably would have been working on trying to like open up my own firm, or maybe I would have had my own firm by now. It's really hard to say. What I do know is that no matter where I am, I try to be my best self. That's what I do know, right? Going back to school sports, going back to, you know, classwork, right? I wasn't always the most serious student, but when I came to it and decided to be, hey, I'm gonna dominate, straight A's going into college, right? Straight A's throughout college until I decided to leave. Um, Likewise with like video games, all these different things, trading, right? Everything that we will really like in every aspect, really. So I think if even if I was doing something else, I would have still been locking in. I would have still been locking in. Do you manage to keep hyper scalping without losing track on the big picture chart? Sometimes you can scalp every entry. Every entry is better than the other losing trade because its lower price and chart is just broken. So just a quick side note, sometimes I'll struggle through reading some of the stuff because some of the questions because depending on where the individual is, and Oren we know is a good guy, right? Sometimes the English might not be the best, but don't worry, we'll do what we have to do to get through the questions. So yeah, and he's asking, do we ever get tunnel vision essentially on just the level 2 and not zoom out to realize that the pattern is failing or is weaker? This definitely happens to me from time to time. And it's why it's always important to take a look at the 5 minute chart, even if it's just for a quick couple seconds, a second or two, right? Oren, don't worry, brother. All all good. All good in the neighborhood. So yeah, the key though, is to always zoom out, like, especially if you take a few losses consecutively. Like after that second, third loss, you got to start to pull it back. How's the chart looking? How are we doing? Is everything here making sense? If not, we want to make sure we, stop, ease off, and take the necessary course of action. You got to stop like GameStop, which the price action here was already very difficult throughout the weeks that it was moving here. We had the uptrend. We had the uptrend, sweet move going up, and then just backside. And this is where we got to be able to see, hey, this thing is just a quick Christmas tree setup, up and then down, no bounce, hard to trade. I don't want to be buying the dip over and over, right? Here, 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 hoping to get a big move back to the highs. Nothing is, coming. So zooming out can definitely help. Zooming out can help big time. On what scenario would you predict when you are going to get filled? Let's say you have 5 cent spread and you're buying market. Where would you get filled in every scenario? In every scenario, you have to assume you'll get filled on the ask, actually. So every other platform besides like E-Trade and some of the other ones, maybe Fidelity, I'm not too sure. But the direct access platforms for sure, Guardian, Lightspeed, and Cobra Trading, and so forth. A lot of these guys, the moment you buy market, you're going to be filled on the ass every time going in and on the bids coming out, right? So Thinkorswim and E-Trade and some of these other platforms, they have price improvement, but it doesn't always guaranteed that you'll be filled in between the spreads or at the bids, right? Because that's what a price improvement is. Hey, instead of always being filled at the ask, maybe you get filled in between, maybe on the bid if you're really, really lucky, which happens maybe a few percentage of the time, right? We have to assume we'll get filled on the ask. So it's why before we buy in certain areas, we want to make sure that the spreads are tight, or we want to utilize a limit order, whether it's pure or an offset or the latter, all depending on the situation. Some trades are so fast that if you try to maybe find the latter to put in the order, maybe it's too late. Other times the spreads are so big that if you hit market, you're gonna get cooked buying the ask because maybe support is at $5, you got filled at 5.15, you're only looking to risk 5-10 cents. You're in at 15, you wanted to have a stop at 90. Now you're looking at a 25-cent risk if you're to still stop out at 4.90, right? So we want to make sure the spreads are tight. We want to utilize limit orders. Whatever is required for you to have the edge in the situation is what you want to do, which is why it's good to be verse. It's why it's good to have these different platforms. It's why it's good for us to utilize them, right? So as I was saying in the beginning of this video, I have to start utilizing DAS way more when everything is back to normal with the integration. So bids are holding and the tape is red, bids holding and the tape is printing green. Maybe pullback that shows micro hold on the tape and so on. There are multiple examples. So, on a case-by-case basis, right, you'll want to use your best discretion. If there's a flush and the red is slowing down on the tape and the spreads are tight and we deem that the area is a decent area to be in, we can take the trade. If it's a breakout, right, and you notice that we're inching up and there's that acceleration in buying, depending on the certain scenario, right, and the spread and the variables, we'll want to make a quick decision. Steven Ducks is messy. Oh my gosh. I don't know about this, man. I wouldn't go as far to say any of this, but deep down to my core, here's the thing, right? Deep down to my core, I'm deep down to my core, I'm beyond Ronaldo and Messi. I'm the AI. I can't go as far to say God because that's just disrespectful and crazy, but I'm the AI. I'm the Omega and the Alpha. But that's just my ego talking there. So you gotta, at the end of the day, do I think that I'm the best trader that there is based off of what I know for myself? The answer is yes. But every other trader might be able to say that. I don't know. It just depends on who you ask, right? I think if you ask Marcelo, he would probably say the same thing. If you ask Tim Triad, they'll probably say the same thing. You know, the Team House guys and Calamity, Crispy, Save, they'll probably say the same thing. So, you have to be sometimes you have to be delusional. Like, it's like in sports, right? It's like, I don't think Messi would say that Ronaldo is better than him or vice versa, or anybody else for that matter, right? So, yeah. What was the moment you realized you turned the corner as a trader? To be honest, there was a day where commissions went to zero. I think October of 2019. I've been trading for a while. I have to this day on my YouTube channel, right? Some of these videos are privated because I used to show level 2. I didn't even know that was a thing, right? On, like, you couldn't show it on YouTube broadcasting. Let me see. I'll go into my YouTube studio, content, and then live streams. There was a day where commissions had went to zero, and so I was at a point in the simulator where I was working on becoming a little more consistent with commissions, because at first there was this progression. I was just red everything. Then I became green, gross. Before fees and commissions, I was net positive. Or no, positive before the fees. getting ahead of myself here. And so the next step that I started to work on was, okay, how am I going to become a little bit more efficient with the commissions? So it's this process, and I there was no time restraint or anything. I literally became green gross like for like a month. So it was a huge accomplishment, like huge stride in the right direction. And then I wake up one morning and I just hear commissions are gone. And I said, hello, green net, right? Because there's no longer any fees. But my plan was at the time, because it's trial and error for me. I was gonna have to experiment. There were two things I was considering at the time. One, bigger size, and or two, less trades. Or maybe a combination of both the third option, bigger size and less trades. And see how it goes. Like I would have needed to go through that for a few more months and gain data. That's how I became green gross in the first place, was by gaining data. I think I can show this on the stream. Where am I? What month is this? This is, where's the date? September 30th, 2022. I mean, I have so many of these videos. Like these videos are all privated. I'm always very skeptical to show you guys back end because I don't want to ever leak data. But here's live streams from me going back like all the way, right? This stuff goes on and on. 2022, April, all the way back in the very beginning, and it keeps going, keeps going. Pastor was at it for some time, man. And I had some crazy big days, surprisingly. And this was with small size. This stuff is so encouraging. This stuff is so encouraging. 2021. I forgot how this was going to connect to the question. Oh yeah. Becoming profitable and realizing when I turned the corner. It was back in these times, man, coming in every day, trading, working, grinding, growing. I think I might have had recaps. I think I might have had recaps beyond this. This is going back to 2020 July. I must have recaps But yeah, that's kind of the answer to the question. The day commissions went away was that moment for me. But let's say commissions never had went away. I would have continued with my process. There was nothing to make me think that my trajectory was not going to allow me to become green. That was just the path that I was on. And again, coming back to the question above, like, it doesn't matter what the circumstances is. What really matters is how disciplined I'm willing to be. Let's say commissions come back tomorrow and they're at $20 a trade. Then how I trade now is not going to make any sense. So I'll have to adjust and be disciplined towards something else that will work, right? And again, perhaps less trades. To use size could negate the commissions, but you have to also be accurate, right? Size is a very interesting thing. Like commission, if you're paying $2 in, $2 out, it doesn't matter if you're very accurate, to be honest, But how we trade now, our accuracy is lower compared to other strategies because of the frequency of which we trade. You tend to find that when people trade less, they're a little bit more accurate, right? Depending on the style of trade. But anyhow, let's come on down. And let me check out the YouTube chat, by the way. I've kind of been neglecting the YouTube stream, which hasn't been great. Let's pop this out. By the way, we have 71 people. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to hit that thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up. consider subscribing to the channel as well. All right. How is your performance according to price range? And how has this changed throughout the past few years? For me, it's much easier to manage risk on low, tight spreads, but still looking to expand the playbook to plus $5 with higher spreads. Yeah, typically the cheaper the stock is, the lower the risk. Although not always the case, there are outliers, and this is due to the spreads usually being a little tighter. You guys know we utilize a lot of market orders here, so when the spreads are naturally tight, it's when we're really in our sweet spot with the edge because we don't have to worry about too much slippage. And stocks below $1, the actual penny stocks, you know, sometimes their spreads are pretty tight, right? 1/10 of a penny. So it's not bad at all. And you can get in there and see some follow through. I do think though that before the last 2 months where we've seen a lot of activity below sub $1, it was much better about 2 years ago. In fact, 2 years ago, it was my favorite price range. And because of those reasons, as mentioned with the tight spreads, it just felt a little easier to manage risk, not seeing as many flushes. There's a level of difficulty when there's a 10, 15, $20 stock that can drop $1 share in 1 or 2 seconds. It makes it tricky, when it comes to risk. And so typically, the cheaper a stock is, the more size we could potentially use. And they're in terms of range, it's less range. A stock at 50 cents might go to 60 cents on a really great day, from 50 cents up to 120. And in total, that is a 60-cent move, right? Versus a stock at $10 can give a 60-cent move in 5 seconds, right? So there's a slight different dynamic and the approach that you have to take. But yeah, nowadays I prefer stocks that are more expensive, and that my sweet spot is between like 3 and like 12. Between $3 and $12 I prefer now. But I still love the stocks down below. And when I say prefer, if there are two stocks that are just as strong, but one is at 8 and the other one is at 1, if they're both moving just as well for the strategy, I'd prefer to trade the one at $8. But that's just, again, that's just a little personal preference. But back in the days, it used to be the opposite. So when it comes to risk, you got to be careful. Again, typically we're using bigger size on cheaper stocks, which means the range does matter just as much. If you're in 20,000 shares, a penny is still $200, and we could still see a stock at like a dollar drop down 5 to 10 cents quickly, and you could be down 2K if you're not able to react or get out in time, right? Vice versa, a stock at $10 that can move up or down very quickly. Maybe we're not using 20,000 shares, but we're probably using, let's say, 2,500 shares, right? But we could still lose $1 a share in 5 seconds in terms of the risk, and it could be down, 2K or more. So, those things you have to consider. You have to consider share size, and you don't want to use a size that's more than the amount you're willing to lose to the extreme, because, and hopefully that made sense, right? So meaning, if I don't want to lose more than $1,000, knowing that this stock could drop $1 a share very quickly, maybe I don't use over 1,000 shares. Maybe I don't go to 5,000 shares. That way you can trade and be comfortable. There are certain scenarios when we expand our comfort zones, but for sure you don't want to be too fidgety or gun shy or too passive or whatever it might be, or even overly aggressive in those situations, right? You want to be clear-minded in the Goldilocks zone. That's how I approach risk. If I know this stock can drop $1 a share and I don't want to be down more than $1,000, I don't want to use over a certain size, so 1,000 shares, and that's all relative to how the stock could move and how much I'm willing to lose on a given day. And some days I'm more aggressive than others, right? There are days you guys are gonna see me take 10,000 shares. The next day, the same stock could come at the same price, or a different stock at the same price, moving very similarly, but I might not be as aggressive. Enzo in the building. How much? Hey RT, how much risk are you taking per trade? For me, expect to lose $5 per trade on average. Um, okay, let me finish the question. Can you also go over the risk you are willing to take depending on the price of the stock? Okay, so this ties into what I was saying towards the end of the last for the end of the last question, which is it is relative, right? Um, Outside of variables like, personal aggression and things like that, um, you have to know where you are and what you're willing to lose. So I'll give you two examples, right? In the beginning of my career, coming in, I took out a loan of like over 25 grand trade, and I knew I couldn't lose more than like really 500 in a day. Like me losing 500 in a day, even back, even though I would still be over the PDT because I used 2K of my own money. So I think my account was at 27,500, right? So it was at 2,500 of my own money. I wouldn't want to lose 500 in a day. So that's how I approach risk in the beginning. Like, hey, just where I am with life, not just trading and not just the setup, but where I am with life, my circumstances here. This is just not something that I'm willing to do on a given day. I understand that it could happen. I could still be in with small size. A stock could just teleport into a halt down. I could lose 1K. That's like the outlier. I understand that. I still accept that type of risk, but for the most part, hey, I'm gonna risk to where I can't lose that amount in one day. So coming down to the price of the stock, if there is a $10 stock that is tight spread, not really flushing out, giving clean moves, I'd feel more confident to size up on that stock, maybe going up to about, 800 shares. Hey, when this thing pull back, it's only pulling back uh 20 cents. Miraculously, this thing's just holding up very well. So back in those times, maybe I jump up to 800 shares to where if I do lose in that trade, okay, I'm losing like, $100, $160. It's not hitting my max loss kind of thing in one trade or one opportunity. So, I think ultimately when it comes to risk, you have to know where you are as the trader financially, um, and kind of use that as like a backstop based off of the current stock, the price action, and how much risk it's carrying, right? So now that I'm in a better place in my trading career, that same exact stock moving the same exact way, now instead of just using 800 shares, knowing that the risk is 20 cents, now I don't mind if I'm down $1,000, in a certain trade on a given day. I'll go in with 5,000 shares right there, you know. So it's also why as a trader you don't compare yourself to others directly, you know. Sometimes it's even hard to compare yourself versus like, your ghost, right? Again, mentioning, earlier I said some days I can be more aggressive. Like I don't know, like it's weird. I can wake up on a Monday and I'll be talking crazy on the live stream saying I want the smoke. Like I'm just ready. Whatever the market gives me, I'm gonna dominate it. But then on a different day, I'm a little softer. I'm a little more, like taking it easy. You know. So there are a ton of variables, but ultimately you want to utilize where you are financially, how much you're willing to risk on a given day. You have to know, man, this is the area that I don't want to be down more than, based off of my personal life, how much I'm making, or what I'm looking to make, things like that. But yeah, I do not risk the same amount regardless of the stock price. Um, because the reason why is because of share size. Sometimes the market can be irrational and unpredictable, and so going back let's not even say that. If there's a stock at $1 and there's a stock at $20, you know, the way how I'm going to approach the risk is going to be different because of how many shares I choose to use, right? $20 stock, maybe we go up $3 a share, we can go down $3 a share, we can get halted down. There's no way I can put out, you know, a 20K position, right? But you know, in terms of the dollar amount, it's more so where I land after the performance, right? After the risk management is already set, the dollar amount kind of comes in where I land from performance, execution. How well did I execute the trade? Did I get in the bouncy areas? Did I get in the dip properly? Did I give it a chance to bounce? Because there's a lot of trades I take sometimes where I'm out too soon. I'm in perfectly and I'm out too soon. It goes without me, or I'm in, or I attempted to be in properly, but I got a higher fill and the risk is thrown off, so I got to cut the trade. And maybe that trade does work out as well. And if that happens to you too many times in a key area or on a stock, despite managing risk well in terms of share size, you might not have gotten the dollar amount that you desired out of the move, which happened. That happened on one, I think one of these days. What was that, like Thursday of last week? There was a stock, L Fly. What was L Fly was what, Friday? I think L Fly was the name. L Fly was like that. Like it's this thing, you know, this type of stock. I'm just rolling my eyes because it's like son of a gun, like you know, son of a gun. There's such, you know, a tightrope walk, man. The difference between red and green. I mean, sometimes it's just sometimes it was a simple decision, a simple click of the buy button, or a small lack of aggression in a key area. When MLGO made that move over 8, I think I kind of blurted out a cuss word because it's like, you know, I should have bought and I was about to buy, but like almost in the last millisecond of that signal being transmitted, I said, okay, wait, give it a sec. And that sec was the difference of $1 share move. And it's like, freaking heck, man. You know, sometimes it's close. But yeah, coming over to the YouTube side of things, we'll see if any more questions do come in the chat. I don't want to make this live stream overly long, but yeah, you know, we can answer some quick questions here. How old am I? You know, I'm never fully comfortable saying this on the stream. I do say it in private chats, one-on-ones, sometimes in the Discord as well, because I like to make things difficult for people who might be of a bad character. You know, there's 600 people watching me every day. There's gonna be a few people who are out to get me. So if I'm working hard, anybody who's trying to hack or scam or do anything, they need to work hard. They need to look me up. Even if it takes them just 5 minutes to find me wherever the heck they need to work hard. So this, I don't say certain things because of that. But what I'll say is that I'm in my mid 20s, right? Maybe there's somebody smiling because I said that. I mean, I don't know, but you know, I'm in my mid 20s. There's 64 people watching, but there's only 28 likes. Guys, be sure to hit the thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. You have any kids? The answer is no. I've actually been pretty careful about this. You know, I'm not a perfect person. Uh, you know, I am a Christian. I'm a Christian man, but I'm not a perfect person when it comes to like dating and relationships. I've been very careful to not like, you know, get caught slipping here because it changes the dynamics. Like, right, you know, when you're a single person, whether man, woman, whatever, you can move at a certain pace. There's certain things like, you know, and even when it comes to like being a little free and not having certain obligations or responsibilities, I've made sure to not like, you know, and I mean, man, sometimes it's hard. You know, you can get yourself in trouble, but no kids, no kids. Right now, we're a little locked in, and over time for sure. Over time, this is something that we look forward to, but not right now. Why is this thing not coming off the screen? Okay, there we go. Let's see. Is the DAS connection available? I actually asked Marcelo this like 5 minutes ago. I think he did respond. Let's see what he said. June 10th is the theory. He said June 10th is the theory, but we'll see tomorrow if it actually works. So tomorrow it's supposed to be back, but on the first day, even the second, third day, be careful about um any signal issues, lag, things like that. So be very careful. If it's smooth, then okay, maybe we go full force, but be careful. Make sure to have your thinkorswim open so you can see if the orders are being executed properly. James, great to be here. We're glad to have you. You pay monthly for DAS? Yes, I do. I pay 150 a month. Is DAS available for thinkorswim? It was, but thinkorswim, aka TD Ameritrade, was recently bought out by a bigger company called Charles Schwab. And because of the buyout and back end changes, it's been disabled for a few weeks now. But the news is that it should be back tomorrow. But we'll see if everything is smooth and works well. As mentioned in the video earlier, DAS does allow you to have a better and more intuitive level 2 than thinkorswim, along with hotkeys um, and halt levels. Let's see. Can you say the word ask, please? Oh my gosh. I have an accent, so sometimes when I say some words, it sounds, if you want to say crazy or good, I don't know, crazy bad or crazy good. You guys can choose. Let's see. RT, will the Vegas slash LA trader crew be at Miami? Yeah, we're gonna be in Miami very soon here in the next couple of weeks. In about a month's time, we ended up pushing back the announcement for the winner. We're gonna spin the wheel instead of Friday that just passed. We're gonna spin the wheel on Friday coming. We had a few people ask for an extension, so we're gonna spin the wheel pretty soon. Let's see. As a new trader, should I record all my trades, then replay them back that night to learn? Should I journal? Should I track my profit slash loss daily? You want to do all three of these things. You want to do all three of those things. You can utilize OBS, which is a free recording platform, to to record your trades and then review them. And it is good to review them daily. As you mentioned, if you have time in the evening, even if it's just 20 minutes, man, so you'll be surprised how much you can learn and how much screen time you can gain by reviewing those trades, because all the mistakes become so obvious. Um, Nobody is too good. Even the best trader, you can still review no matter, even if you're doing well, and always stay tight, Yeah, journaling is good. This is one of the things that Marcelo also does throughout his live stream, which is, hey, these are the things that I did well. These are the things I need to improve on. This is where I grade the day and my performance. This is what I'm looking to improve for, tomorrow, right? These are the adjustments I'm looking to make. Those, it's great to do, man. And, we talk about doing recaps. We'll come on here and we'll do a 10, 15, 20-minute recap, talk about the day. A key is that everybody should do a recap. You don't have to be on YouTube to do a recap, right? Do it for yourself, and have that third person's point of view, and make adjustments. According to DAS, when I log in, plus an email they sent me, tomorrow, June 10th, the gateway should be complete for Schwab for live orders to go through. So shout out to Nuclear Trading in the building. Yeah, so hopefully we're ready to go tomorrow. Trading Zoo, how do you see your average fill price on thinkorswim's chart? On the chart itself, I know there's show trades. There's show trades in the settings. And so on your chart, there's a gear icon that says chart settings. From there, under the display column on the right hand side, there's show trades. Show trades, I believe, yeah, it shows you. Let me see what the question is saying. The fill price. Yeah, it shows you the fill price. But for me, I trade so much that this right here can get a little messy because I'm in and out so many times, it can start to consume the screen. Like if I go to, what was one of the stocks that I hyper scalped? Elfly? Was it Elfly? This thing starts to get in the way. Starts to get a little too, because this is what hyper scalping is. We're in and out hundreds of times within a day on, even on one candlestick sometimes, that it can start to get a little, but if you're taking just a couple trades, it can definitely be useful. Something that I have not done was to redo the high-low bubbles. I think, yeah, it's good to have them. I think I'll put them back up there. Have you noticed any differences with Thinkorswim since the Schwab takeover? I would say the fills are not as good, but they're not awful. I don't know. Even that is not really full certainty. We've seen stocks on Thinkorswim before the switch where there's no price improvement, and we have to utilize limit orders on those days, and sometimes watch maybe even for a bigger picture entry. But sometimes you can sometimes you can get some bad fills. But I don't know, the audience can definitely hear me for years now, not months but years, complaining about fills. It's something that I shouldn't do, but I can't help it. It's one of the areas where I need to improve, is to stop mentioning if I get a bad fill, because it's not really a bad fill. It's just where it should have been filled. 95% of the times when I go back and watch, the fill made sense. Because again, we have to assume we'll get filled on the ask, right? Where can you find a widget for the halt levels? There's two places: Momo Pro, which is a scanning software, or you can utilize DAS Trader if you're looking for level 2 as well. If you're not looking for level 2, Momo Pro is pretty good. They'll have halt levels available during market open. If a stock is moving more than 3% in the last 5-10 minutes, the halt levels will be displayed. Right now markets are closed, of course, but yeah, if you do check this out, you can utilize code Relentless for 25% off. If not, DAS Trader does have it, and I pay $150 a month for that, for the live data. Second question: do you use DAS with Thinkorswim or any additions to the base software? No, nothing extra on the base software. Just those two. So whatever DAS provides when it comes to limit orders and offsets, or let's say hotkeys and offsets. What hardware are you running PC wise? Let me go into the settings. I was thinking about updating this computer, but it might be too soon. Still doing a good job. What's it about? System. The system about. I'm gonna screenshot this so I don't share everything. Let's see. Processor. I don't know why I did not do 120 gigabytes of RAM. I'll post this in the Discord. That's one of the, if I wouldn't say like regrets, but if I am to say the word regret, these are the specs for the PC that I'm using right now. And I did buy this back in either 2020 or 2021. So it's kind of old, but it's a little old. It's a Dell. G Gaming 5 or something like that. It's a little old. The computer itself, I liked. The Dell service was awful to the point where man, Dell, I would probably never buy a Dell product because of that experience again. So when I buy a new computer, I have to make a decision. So there was this like warranty thing that they had. What I quickly came to find out that it was like BS. It was $10 a month. Okay, cool. I paid for like 4 months, and I called them to, cancel that subscription. And boy, did they give me the runaround. 5 phone calls. Each time they're transferring me from, oh, hey, okay, this is not the department. Let me transfer you to that department. Man. And when I did get the right department, the guy is working on it, and then he hangs up the phone. Like, it's like they were not trying to, what I had to do, I had to call my bank and told them, what did I say? This charge is not a charge that I had to, well, I think I changed my card or something. I had to do something like that. Like, I had to tell them to block that transaction and or to change my card. Like, it's to the point where Dell refused to take me off that subscription. Like, just awful customer service, man. Sorry to say, but not sorry at the same time. Favorite cheat meal? Mine is Chick-fil-A. It's funny because I was thinking about that before I finished the question. Yeah, Chick-fil-A is pretty good. Um, I do like mac and cheese. Mac and cheese is pretty good too. Mac and cheese, but homemade. The homemade stuff is better. Uh, Specs to comfortably run Thinkorswim. Notice your PC being a little laggy. There's a couple different things. I'm not a tech guy at all. I'm the worst tech guy there is, but when you log into Thinkorswim, there's a gear icon that asks you how much of your PC's processing power do you want to allow the software to use. If it is maxed out, you do not need to max it out. I haven't seen a difference in performance in the mid-tier settings versus or the default settings versus the higher settings. That's one thing you can check. Also, how many things are you running whilst you're trading, right? Like browsing stuff, like because RAM is also pretty important, right? Um, like browsing, like how many live streams you might have open and how many different tabs. Are you running OBS? Maybe like for me, as you can see down here, I have like 5 brokers, one, two, no, two brokers, one execution platform. There are days I'm gonna even have Guardian open here, as an extra broker. I'm running 2 OBSs and I'm live streaming to 3 platforms. So a day I tried like really like streaming in Discord at like above 1080p, and the computer started lagging. The live stream started like freezing. So I guess this computer is kind of at its limits right now. So we'll take these 2 more questions and then we will shut it down. But yeah, other than that, if you do need a laptop, you don't have to go overkill. Internet speed is also something to consider. How's your internet speed? Because sometimes it could be the internet. You want to make sure you kind of diagnose everything. You want to find the problem before you make a purchase with everything. You don't want to buy a new computer and then it was actually the internet speed that was the problem, and you kind of. So coming down, uh, let's see, Mr. Relentless. I love this Mr. Relentless. Sounds pretty cool. I have noticed that some active participants of the chat are predominantly short sellers. Do you ever go short, or are you long hyperscalper only? If Thinkorswim has shares available, I do go short on some stocks, but I am primarily a long bias trader. It's to the point where I have a broker funded to go short and I'm not properly utilizing it. I will admit, I have a broker funded to go short. I just mentioned Guardian, right? I have it funded to go short, but I find myself, it's almost like I'm fighting against my nature. But it could be a good thing, right? Because there's nothing wrong with being more versatile. If you can separate the two and not overlap and have issues, there's nothing wrong with being more versatile, man. In fact, I think it's a good thing. You never know how it can help you in the future. So buying high, buying low, buying in between, right? In an uptrend, in a downtrend, in a consolidation, going long, going short. Some people even trade options as well. As they scalp, they also trade options. A lot of us do have longer term portfolios, right? A lot of people have longer term portfolios, whether it's like through a 401k, retirement accounts, or just longer stuff that they're holding. But I'm primarily long biased. You can manually upgrade your RAM. Yeah, this is something I didn't mention. You can manually upgrade your RAM sticks. You just have to find the compatible ones. And but make sure to of course watch a few videos if you don't know how to do it. Um I believe they come in twos, if I'm not mistaken. They come in twos. It's 8 8, 16 16, or 32 32, and of course 64 64 if you go up to 128. But yeah, it's something that you can do. But of course, research it. Make sure you know what you're doing, or get help if you have to. If you have to go to like a hardware store, they can recommend you the correct one to buy, and then from there, you order the part. You can take it in, or you do it yourself. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, quick Q&A here. I don't want to go too long. I do have a couple more things on my checklist to do. Sometimes I tell you, man, this life can kick your butt. I still have some stuff to do. Sometimes it feels like there's not enough time in a day, man. Trading, trading, and all the other things that I do on a daily basis, it feels like the days are so full. Before I had more time, like before starting the school, I used to have more time, like a lot more time. Now it's pretty different. Now it's like from sun up to sundown, we're kind of working. If we're not trading, and trading is so active, right? You have to be paying so much attention. If we're not trading, we're working with students, we're doing behind the scenes stuff. If we're not doing that, there's personal things that you're doing. You're running around, you're running errands. Before you know it, it's 8 p.m. and you're already ready to throw in the towel. So we definitely, the main thing though for everyone here, right, is for us to be consistent, to be disciplined, to be dedicated, not just with trading, but with everything else. And that's how we can see that small progress. We know it's hard. We know it's not guaranteed. Trading is hard. Life is hard. But the only way for us to keep moving up the ladder is to just stay consistent, man. Even when we don't feel like doing it. And it's tough, but we got to push through on the days where it's tough, when that is hard. Whether it's the gym, sometimes reviewing. Even for me, sometimes, it's a long day. I come in, it's like, man, you just want to go to sleep, but you need that 20 minutes to just review. Gotta push through. The best set of people out there are pushing through. If they can do it, we can do it too. Gotta push through, and we gotta really challenge ourselves mentally. A lot of trading is so mental, and if we can continue to amp ourselves up, we have to amp ourselves. There's barriers, there's demons we're fighting, there's obstacles in our way, but a lot of it requires a mental amp. Can we overcome this barrier and move on? Become more refined. So we got to keep challenging ourselves. Ultimately, you as the individual, you know yourself best. You know, even a spouse, even a significant other, they don't know you like you know yourself. Your spouse hasn't been with you from the moment you were born, and the moment you have that recollection of memory. They're not with you every single time of the day. Not even a twin brother, a twin sister. not even a parent are with you, when you're out of the house. Let's say you're in grade school, you leave you leave to go to classes. They're not with you as you're in school, right? Only you know yourself best. And so based off of who you are and where you're trying to go, your tendencies, your good behavior, your good characteristics, your bad characteristics, you have to game plan with all of those things in mind. It's why it's not a one size fit all, right? Some people might find some aspects very easy. Other people might find the very same thing very challenging, right? Based off of who you are and what you're working on, you have to game plan, right? In the video earlier, I mentioned financially, based off of where I was, there's just certain risks I couldn't take on, no matter who I was seeing doing what or things like that. So these are things you have to keep in mind. So everybody's situation is different. One person could be trading in an office where it's completely peaceful and quiet. Somebody else could have 6 kids in the same room playing as they're trading. The circumstances are totally different. So you have to game plan for where you are, who you are, and the improvements and adjustments you're looking to make. So keep that in mind as you plan for tomorrow, and let's look to start the week off strong. Hopefully there's some good momentum. But on our side, let's make sure to bring our A game. Let's make sure to be disciplined. Let's be patient, and let's have some fun, right? Let's seize the opportunity, seize the moment. Do you notice your focus depleted? Here's another thing too when it comes to focus, and this is so interesting because bridging from what I just mentioned there about game planning, I have sciatica, right? Which means I cannot sit down without feeling, and right now I'm standing. I have a standing desk now. I cannot sit down without feeling a burning sensation in my legs. Every moment I sit down, I feel this, right? Even when I'm sitting on the live stream, when I do bring my chair, it's there, right? So even in that aspect, I have to game plan. All right, I'm gonna rotate between sitting and standing. Maybe I get tired standing. Right now, I'm leaning to the side, leaning on the desk. Maybe I'm a little tired standing. Right, my posture is already. All these things you have to think about. You have to game plan. If we're gonna be here from 9:30 to 4, or even just 4 hours, a lot of the times I'll mention leaving to take a quick break, especially if the momentum slows down. Usually there's fruits in this house, right? Like, maybe pineapples, um, you know, stuff like that. Pineapples, apples, all that's oranges, tangerines. Sometimes maybe there's grapes, right? Stuff like that. So I'll leave, eat some fruits, just kind of relax, move away from the screens, then come back 5 minutes and then get back involved again, stuff like that. But yeah, guys, that's gonna do it. Take care, stay safe, stay green. So in terms of reviewing, this is how I'm gonna review. One of the traders asked, should we record our screen? Should we journal? Should we track our data? Later today, I'm gonna set aside a good 30, 40 minutes to check my trader view. Right, check my trader view, see where I am on the month, and I'm gonna review Fridays and Thursdays recording to see where I need to improve. Right, Friday the 7th, I was red. In fact, I was red a little more than this. I got to import some more. I got to review these 2 days, maybe a little bit of Wednesday as well, and kind of just watch over some of the trading and see what I want to do differently, and then be ready for Monday. But yeah, I'm gonna go eat. I have to go eat lunch. I'm gonna go eat lunch, and then I'm gonna continue with the day. There's 2 things I have left to do. Well, 3 things really. So we will get it done. Gotta stay focused. Gotta stay disciplined. So stay safe, stay green. Take care, guys. I'll catch you tomorrow morning, bright and early at 9:15 a.m. Hit that thumbs up on the way out. I do appreciate it. It's always a pleasure hanging out and having a good time. All right. Monday morning, we're going to come in with a positive attitude and we will be ready. All right. Stay safe. Stay green.